Hey you guys, with all the new PlayStation VR games that came out on the store this week, it was bound to happen. One or two of them was going to get lost in the shuffle. Well, one of them that absolutely should not get overlooked is Smashbox Arena. Now, I gotta be honest, I almost skipped this one entirely. When I saw the trailers, I just wasn't a fan of the art style, and I definitely don't like teleportation or click turning. And, well, Smashbox Arena has all of these things. But surprisingly, that should not deter you, because this is a phenomenal game. In fact, it's one of the best multiplayer games you can play right now on PlayStation VR. It's like this and Starblood, it's crazy. And the reason I'm doing this and not a full review is because so far I've only played multiplayer, and I've played a bunch of multiplayer today. Earlier in the day, I was fortunate enough to get some time with my co-host Desra and Dave Station VR, and we ended up meeting up with Lewis Knight online. It was fantastic. I ran into some network problems. I can't tell if it was the game or on my end, but it doesn't matter because I went back again later tonight and I found another game. This one again with Lewis Knight, also Seraphim190, and for the first half of my multiplayer session, PlayStation VR Frank. I gotta say, he's pretty good at this game. If you're not familiar with Smashbox Arena, well, here's the gist of it. It's kind of like dodgeball, okay? So you're playing obviously in first person mode and you've got two move controllers. Now the controls are pretty simple. You can click turn right with the right controller and click turn left with the left controller. You can also toss this little top looking thing and that will transport you to another location. Now, I do not like teleportation, but this is a little bit different. This adds a little bit of strategy to the mix. You can throw it, shoot, and while you're waiting to transport, like even turn and get ready for whatever's gonna happen. What I always found fantastic was if you're in a shootout with somebody, you just toss the thing behind them and you teleport right behind them. And if you do it right, you can be facing them as soon as you teleport. So you can get a pretty embarrassing drop on them, no problem. But the move controllers in the game look like two little vacuum cleaners, or something. And there's little dodgeballs laying all around the environment. You can suck them up and hold on to them. You can have one in each hand if you want to, but that eliminates your ability to move around the arena. But you can use those little balls to reflect shots too, so they have multiple purposes. And then scattered around the arena at random times are different power-ups. Now, I haven't experimented with a ton of power-ups, but there's all sorts of different things, like shields and sniper rifles and big giant boulders that run over your opponents. The strategy here seems to be pretty endless. Now, this impression video wouldn't be complete if I didn't also tell you about some of the faults I encountered. The frame rate here can get really janky. Surprisingly, it didn't make me sick at all, which is fantastic. But it is there and it happens quite a bit. It's also really easy to get turned around. So my technique that I've used for every VR game so far is to stand right in front of my couch with the back of my legs against the couch, so that I always know which direction the camera's in. But I really can't say it enough what a great time I had with this game, and with a bunch of people online. If you've been following me for a while, then you know that online multiplayer games, especially competitive ones, were just never really my thing. Until VR, because as we all know, VR makes everything better. And apparently, that goes for dodgeball too. So, first impressions of the multiplayer only. I'm going to dive into single player tonight. Absolutely fantastic. It's definitely a must-own. I don't think anybody was more surprised than me to find out just how fun this game was. And that's it. I'll be back with a full review as soon as I've gotten through some single player. As always, I'm Brian Paul, and I love you all.